Hello and welcome back to the Motorsport Bear Talk podcast. I'm your host Didi, and joining me today once again is my friend and your co-host Vedant. We are here to talk about the Rome doubleheader EPrix. So let's grab some chai, take a seat, ready opinions, and dive right into the conversation. Vedant, Formula E was finally back. Especially after that conversation with Jack Nichols a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't wait for the season to just uh, kick off once again. Basically, this was a long break. I think 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
But what a turnaround we have seen this weekend in Formula E. And of the three things that we're going to talk about today from Formula E's weekend in Rome, the number one is obviously Jaguar and Mitch Evans are back with a back-to-back in Rome. Uh, Double win for Jaguar and Mitch Evans. Obviously, Mitch Evans took victory last year in Rome, and now he's back once again, and he's put himself in championship contention straight away. At the start of the season, we had been talking about what has happened to Jaguar, and what we heard from Jaguar was we don't really have an answer because we have a good race car. We just don't seem to have the pace for some reason. I don't know what they have done over the last 6 weeks, Vedant, but whatever they have done, it's on point because in the first race, Mitch Evans started, I believe, 9th or 11th or something like that, and then he somehow won the race. Even in the second race, he was not on pole. I think Mitch Evans started fourth or fifth or something like that, and from there he went on to win the race. Obviously, got a little bit lucky with the strategy, getting that attack mode, towards the end of the race with the safety car, after the last safety car. But even then, this man was on fire this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a historic weekend in Rome because Formula E has never seen a back-to-back doubleheader winner, like two wins on the same weekend because of obviously the old qualifying regulations. So if you win a race, you are almost 100% going to start in the last half, right? So
Yeah, because you're the championship leader now.
yeah, exactly. So Mitch Evans took that chance, like made perfect use of that opportunity, basically. But it's so great to see Jaguar back, and even Sam Bird was there or thereabouts. He started fifth in the second race. He did, I mean, he DNF'd in the end, but he was there and thereabouts. But yeah, I think it was great.
Yeah, but
And
Sammer had a great first race. He started from I think 14th or 15th, and I think he finished P5.
yeah, he
or
finished
something
P5
in the first
absolutely.
race.
And I mean, Mitch Evans, as you said he's in championship contention. I would argue against that because he's still less than half the points of Jean-Eric Vergne, who is leading the championship. But it's Formula E, and anything can happen in Formula E. So let's see. But absolutely, it's great to see the Jaguars back.
Absolutely. And in my opinion, this was the least Formula E esque weekend we saw. It was like controlled chaos
Yeah.
somehow. Obviously, there was in round five. The first lap was a bit chaotic with I think I don't remember who it was, but someone got pushed into the wall into turn four or something. Up the hill, the left hander on top of the hill. So there was chaos, but it seemed like there was controlled chaos this weekend. It wasn't as crazy as it usually is, which was great to see because that gave us a lot of clean racing. The number of clean
Yeah.
moves we saw this weekend was way more than the number of dirty moves we usually see in Formula E. The bumper car moves
And you
that we
remember,
talk about.
if you remember Rome from last year, it was one of the dirtiest weekends of the season. It was,
It was just carnage going up the hill, and it was still very sketchy this season. But it seemed like everybody had it just a little bit more under control through those bumps, going up the hill.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, I mean, the championship is underway properly because now no one's dominating. The Mercedes domination has come to an end after 6 weeks, and yeah, it's go time.
Which brings us to our second point from this Formula E's weekend in Rome, and that is Nick De Vries is nowhere to be seen. Now, Stoffel Vandoorne is still up there. He's I think second or third in the drivers' championship.
Second, yeah.
Second in the drivers' championship. Um, but what has happened to championship defender Nick De Vries? He had a terrible weekend. He had some reliability issues. I think, but even then, he wasn't doing great in the race. He lost a lot of pace. which is really, really interesting almost. Even with Stoffel Vandoorne, we saw, he couldn't keep up with, even after qualifying on pole in round one, he just couldn't keep up with the likes of Mitch Evans, Robin Frijns, and fell back a lot compared to where he started.
Yeah,
Which is not surprising in Formula E, but even then, given how Mercedes did in the first two rounds, or the first three rounds, you would expect a little bit more from Stoffel Vandoorne and especially Nick De Vries.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. The Mercedes seem to have great qualifying pace and not enough race pace in Formula E. Uh, and I mean, Stoffel Vandoorne has been consistent throughout his time in Formula E, so he is up there. But we have seen Nick De Vries struggle. Even if he starts up front, he seems to struggle once a couple of cars eat him up. So maybe that was a case, and then again, in Formula E, it's so easy to hit a wall and knock something off your car and or damage your car in some way. So it's a very delicate sport, and Nick De Vries is certain.
I don't think I don't think I agree with you there, Vedanta. I feel Formula E is a little quite a bit more robust than
I mean,
IndyCar and Formula One.
yeah, it's robust in that sense because they're all bumper car racing. But then again, if you are hitting the wall, and if you are racing like bumper cars, something is going to fall apart at some point. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, Nick De
Absolutely.
Vries. I mean, he needs to buck up if he wants to defend that title, or even attempt to defend that
Yep.
title.
Yeah, and now let's come on to the third point, which has been a pain point for us for this is what 8 seasons now, and that is Mahindra Racing. Guys, what is happening? Uh, e- One thing that happened in round five goes to show that Mahindra actually squandered a points opportunity, and that is somehow Neo 333 team of Dan Ticktum and Oliver Turvey, which is probably the slowest car on the grid, bagged a double points finish after qualifying P20 and P22. Guys, what is happening? We need to get in touch with Dilbag Singh. We need to ask him, man, what is up? How can we help you? Please let us know what went wrong, what is happening. And I don't know, like, obviously there was a bit of DNF. I think Oliver Rowland got caught up in a crash of some sort. This is just so much happened, it's hard to remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure Oliver Rowland had a bit of a crash. But even then, 2 rounds and basically like no points. What is happening? And Oliver Rowland showed so much promise, moving to Mahindra. He was supposed to be the big signing by Mahindra last season, and nothing has come of it so far.
I mean, in Rome, which is Mahindra's previous home, basically, out of 4 starts, 3 were DNFs, and Alexander Sims finished the round 4. I don't know, somewhere 15th, 16th, or something like that. But Mahindra has been struggling for a few seasons now. I remember in the time of Jerome D'Ambrosio and Felix Rosenquist and Nick Heidfeld, we were winning races somewhere or the other, but now it's nowhere to be seen. So hopefully we go back to winning ways. At least get on the podium, at least get on competitive terms, basically.
At least get like a top 5 once every 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that makes me
one
wonder.
of the
That makes
drivers.
me wonder. Were those wins again? This is the typical uh, new qualifying format speculation.
Was it a result of
Yeah.
the qualifying format that we used to have?
Absolutely.
I mean, Mahindra do seem to be off the pace. There's no joking about that. They seem to be the 6th or the 7th fastest car on the grid. And I think the next fastest car this weekend was probably the Avalanche Andretti of Jake Dennis. They had energy management issues. We saw Jake Dennis move up the order, overtake cars, and then fall back
Yeah.
pretty hard throughout the race, and not really pick up any points either. So, yeah, definitely. I think they're only faster than Neo 333 and what
Dragon.
is the other team?
Dragon.
Yeah, the Dragon Penske Autosport team. So I understand that it's difficult for them to bag points, but come on.
Yeah.
In a race where Neo 333 somehow has a double points finish, which I have no idea how they did that, because the action in the front was so busy that I didn't even pay attention to the rest of the grid, and somehow Oliver Turvey and Dan Tickdom just slipped into the top 10. But in a race where that happens, you're missing out. That's like Alfa Romeo missing out on points when William bagged some last season.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, talking about how the new Triple Three team finished in points without anyone noticing, I don't think the commentators even talked about the Neo team, both the drivers, throughout the entire race, throughout the entire
Yeah,
EP.
Jack, what's up with that?
And I think I know the reason. The reason is all the big names now are at the front of the pack, right? All the big names, all the big teams are at the front of the pack because of, again, the qualifying format. Till last year, Oliver Turvey was fighting Jean-Eric Vergne, and Dan Ticktum would have fought, Sam Bird basically. But now that all
Yeah,
the
put Dan Ticktum in a slow car on pole, and let's see who manages to go around him. He's like Lauterer. He's just like Lauterer Junior.
Yeah, hey, listen, Andre Lauterer has found. I mean, I have found newfound respect for Andre Lauterer this season, and he has found form because Andre Lauterer is the only man. Like, he has the most semi-finals this season. He has,
That is true. I think he qualified 4 out of 5.
yeah.
Or
So he has found his form back, and it may be his last season. So let's see. He is,
there's gonna be a huge driver market shakeup at the end of the
Yeah.
season because 75% of the drivers have like a contract coming to an end at the end of the season.
absolutely. But Andre Lauterer, I'm so glad that he's back because I remember Jean-Eric Vergne and Andre Lauterer, the genre or whatever they are, that pairing is called, them at DS Tachita, they were unbeatable, right? But now in Porsche, Andre has struggled a bit, but he's performing better than Pascal right now.
Yeah, obviously, and Jev leads the championship now, so that consistent DS Tachita pace showing that Jeff can still take it places. Although he did make a frustrated comment in the post race interview that he's tired of chasing these untouchable cars, which is a bit surprising because I think it's just out of frustration. Really, I don't think there's any. There's not much behind it, but I think he was a little bit upset with the race engineer and all the mixed information that he was getting throughout the race. But that is just how the race played out. So there's not much the engineering team could have done there except to keep him updated with whatever was going on. But I think the surprise for me this weekend was Robin Frijns. To see a double podium from him in the Envision racing car was surprising. And obviously, Envision had big news going into the weekend that they had teamed up with. No, that was Rocket Venturi. Sorry.
Yeah.
That they had teamed up with
Maserati.
Maserati. But yeah, again, I think Robin Frijns was a surprise. We've seen him perform well in the past, but to finish on the podium twice is huge from any driver in Formula E, to be honest. So yeah, that is that. Is there anything else that you want to touch upon, Vedant, before we wrap up this podcast?
Well, no, I mean, Formula E has, again, it is a typical Formula E weekend. We see action all across the grid. For some reason, we did not see action towards the end, back of the grid this time around. But yeah,
Well, because everybody crashed out, in the first half of the race.
Yeah.
We had like what 7-8 DNFs in round 5, something similar in round 4.
so yeah,
But yeah, the championship is proper underway. Like you said, Mercedes leads the constructors with top 5 teams separated by just 26 points, which is basically pocket change in Formula E terms.
absolutely.
That's like one round and it'll be upside down. And then one leads, John one leads Frijns just 2 points, and Van Dorn further behind by another 2 points. So clearly it's all up for grabs. But it's weird to say that we are a third of the way into the season when we've only had 3 weekends, because we're done with 5 rounds and there's another 11 to go.
Yeah.
So just a bit weird. So yeah, we'll see. But it's been great talking to you, Vedant, about Formula E, and we'll catch you on the next one.